The vast chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with barely contained laughter as the holographic display showed the latest human vessel designs. The ancient races, some having sailed the cosmic seas for millennia, couldn't help but mock what they saw as primitive attempts at spacefaring technology. "Look at those pitiful chemical rockets," sneered High Counselor Zextal, his crystalline form shimmering with amusement. "They haven't even mastered basic gravitational manipulation." The chamber, filled with representatives from over 300 advanced civilizations, erupted in another wave of derisive chuckles. Earth's ambassador stood silently, maintaining his diplomatic composure despite the mockery. His weathered face betrayed no emotion, but his eyes held a glimmer of something the Council couldn't quite read. Behind him, Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Fleet kept her hands clasped behind her back, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The humans had been part of the galactic community for barely 2 decades. Their ships were bulky, angular, and relied on what the Council considered outdated technology. No sleek bioorganic hulls, no quantum probability drives, not even basic psychic navigation systems. Just good old-fashioned nuclear propulsion, titanium alloys, and human ingenuity. Perhaps, the Earth ambassador finally spoke, his voice carrying across the chamber with unexpected authority. The Council would be interested in reviewing the footage from last week's Proxima Centauri incident. The laughter gradually died down as curiosity took hold. The holographic display shifted to show a massive pirate fleet, rogue elements from various advanced species who had been terrorizing trading routes for months. The Council had failed to stop them despite their superior technology. The pirates had grown bold enough to attack colonies and civilian transports at will. What happened next caused several Council members to lean forward in their seats. A small fleet of Earth vessels, those same primitive ships they had just mocked, appeared at the edge of the system. The pirates, confident in their superior technology, moved to engage them. That's when things got interesting. The bulky human ships suddenly demonstrated why Earth had survived countless wars and conflicts throughout its history. The seemingly crude design of their vessels masked layers of tactical innovation that the more advanced races had never considered. As the battle unfolded, the Council chamber grew deathly quiet. No one was laughing anymore. One by one, the pirate ships began to vanish from the tactical display. Not destroyed, simply gone. No debris, no explosion, no energy signatures. They simply ceased to exist. The human ships moved with a precision that seemed impossible for their primitive technology, executing maneuvers that defied the conventional wisdom of space combat. "Impossible," whispered Zextal, his crystalline form now dulled with shock. "Their technology level. They couldn't possibly." Admiral Chen stepped forward, her smile now more pronounced. "There's an old saying on Earth," she said, her voice carrying a hint of pride. "Sometimes the simple solution is the best solution. While the galaxy focused on advancing technology, we focused on understanding it. Every piece of tech has a weakness. You just need to know where to look." The footage ended with the last pirate ship vanishing into nothingness, leaving the human fleet alone in the void. The Council chamber remained silent, the earlier mockery forgotten as the implications sank in. The Earth ambassador cleared his throat, drawing attention back to himself. "Now then," he said calmly, "shall we discuss the terms of Earth's full membership in the Galactic Council? I believe we have demonstrated our ability to contribute meaningfully to the security and stability of the galaxy." As the Council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, a new message flashed across the holographic display. Multiple distress signals, all reporting the same phenomenon, ships vanishing without a trace near the Orion Arm. But this time, they weren't pirate vessels. The Council erupted into chaos as more distress signals flooded in. Ships from various species, merchant vessels, passenger liners, even military patrols, were disappearing along major trade routes. The pattern was identical to what the humans had demonstrated against the pirates, but the scale was unprecedented. High Counselor Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with rapid color changes, a sign of extreme agitation. "You," he pointed accusingly at the Earth delegation, "this is your doing. Your primitive species is attacking peaceful vessels." Admiral Chen's expression hardened. With all due respect, Counselor, if we were behind these disappearances, why would we have revealed our capabilities to you moments ago? That would be rather poor strategy, wouldn't it? Her logic was sound, but fear rarely listens to reason. The Earth ambassador raised his hand for silence. We offer our full cooperation in investigating these incidents. In fact, he paused as his neural link buzzed with an incoming message. The color drained from his face as he read it. 3 Earth colonies have just gone dark. Complete communications blackout. No distress signals, no emergency broadcasts. Nothing. His voice carried the weight of thousands of lives potentially lost. The accusatory glares from the council members softened slightly. Admiral Chen immediately activated her tactical display. The colonies are spread across different sectors, but there's a pattern here. Whatever's causing this is moving methodically, almost like her eyes widened, like it's hunting. A younger council member, representing one of the newer spacefaring races, spoke up. Could it be that someone has replicated your ship vanishing technology? Impossible, Chen replied, shaking her head. What you saw in that footage wasn't just technology. It was a combination of factors that took humanity centuries to perfect. You can't simply copy it without understanding the fundamental principles behind it. The council chamber's main display suddenly flickered, showing a new signal originating from deep space. The message was being broadcast on all frequencies, using a communication method so ancient that most modern systems had nearly missed it. Found you. The 2-word message sent chills through the chamber. It repeated in every known language, including extinct ones that hadn't been spoken in millennia. The signal source was moving, jumping between systems faster than any known form of propulsion should allow. Admiral, the Earth ambassador whispered, remember the deep space anomalies we detected last year, the ones that matched no known pattern. Ken's face showed recognition, followed by growing concern. The ones that appeared to be observing our battles with the pirates. We thought they were sensor ghosts. She turned to address the council. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've been studied. Someone or something has been watching us, learning our tactics, our technologies, our weaknesses. The council's advanced sensors detected multiple objects entering the system, but they couldn't get a clear reading on them. They seemed to exist in a state of flux, as if they weren't fully present in normal space. Whatever they are, Chen continued, her tactical mind already formulating strategies. They've been planning this for a while. They waited until we revealed our capabilities, probably to ensure they had countermeasures for everything we could throw at them. A junior officer rushed into the chamber, breaking all protocol. Admiral, we're getting reports from Earth. Something massive just appeared in orbit. It's like nothing we've ever seen. The council chamber's atmosphere grew heavy with tension as everyone realized the same thing. Humanity's innovative combat techniques, the very ones that had just impressed the council, might have inadvertently attracted something far more dangerous than pirates. And now, Earth itself was in its sights. The ancient races of the galaxy had stopped laughing at human ships. Now, they were hoping those same ships might be their only chance at survival. The massive object hovering above Earth defied conventional physics. It seemed to ripple and shift. Like a mirage in space, its surface a constantly moving pattern of impossible geometries. Earth's orbital defense platforms, the pride of human military engineering, appeared insignificant in comparison. We're getting readings from the object, reported Lieutenant Commander Thomas, his voice steady despite the circumstances. But they don't make sense. It's as if it's simultaneously there and not there. The tactical displays in the council chamber showed similar anomalies across multiple systems, each one near a location where ships had vanished. Admiral Chen studied the data with intense focus, her years of tactical experience searching for any weakness, any pattern they could exploit. Notice something interesting? She asked, pointing to a particular set of readings. Every time they make something vanish, there's a split-second energy spike. They're not just making things disappear. They're moving them somewhere. The Earth ambassador's neural link buzzed again. The object above Earth. It's broadcasting something. The message appeared on the council's main display, this time in a single language, English. Your species intrigues us humans. You achieved so much with so little. Primitive tools wielded with exceptional creativity. We watched you grow, watched you overcome challenges that should have been impossible with your limited technology. But now you've shown us too much. High Counselor Zextol's crystalline form dimmed with realization. "They're collectors," he whispered. "There are legends, ancient warnings about entities that study emerging civilizations, waiting for them to develop unique solutions to universal problems. Then they harvest those innovations." The Earth Ambassador's face hardened. "So they're technological parasites. Instead of developing their own solutions, they steal from others." His hands clenched into fists. "But they made a crucial mistake." Admiral Chen nodded, a grim smile forming on her face. "They revealed themselves too soon. If they'd waited, observed longer, they might have learned humanity's most important tactical lesson." She turned to address the council. "Those missing ships, those colonies, I believe they're still intact, just transported somewhere. These collectors want to study them, understand how they work." The massive object above Earth began to pulse with energy, similar to the patterns observed before ships vanished. Earth's orbital defenses activated, but their weapons seemed to pass right through the shifting form. "Admiral," the junior officer called out, "Earth's orbital stations are reporting something strange. All the civilian ships are being evacuated, but the captains are staying aboard. They're requesting permission to execute Protocol Omega." Ken's expression turned solemn. "Permission granted. May they fly true." She looked at the confused council members. "You see, when we developed our ship vanishing technology, we also developed a countermeasure. Something that could stop anything similar if it was ever used against us. We never deployed it because the cost was too high." The council chamber's displays showed Earth's orbital stations beginning to move, positioning themselves in a precise pattern around the alien object. Each station's power signature started to build beyond safe levels. "What cost?" asked Zextol, his crystalline form reflecting the tension in the room. The Earth Ambassador's voice was heavy with emotion. "The countermeasure requires manual operation, and it's a one-way trip for the operators." He looked up at the display showing the brave men and women aboard the orbital stations. "But humanity has always been willing to pay any price to protect its own." The alien object seemed to sense something was wrong. Its shifting surface began to move more erratically, and new energy patterns emerged that nobody had seen before. The collectors were about to learn another crucial lesson about humanity. Never corner a species that has spent its entire history fighting against overwhelming odds. As the orbital stations reached critical power levels, Admiral Chen whispered an old Earth prayer, "Through the Valley of Death." "Wait!" A new voice cut through the tension in the council chamber. Dr. Rebecca Hall, Earth's leading quantum physicist, burst through the doors, her research team following close behind. "The collectors, they're not just moving things through space. They're moving them through time." Admiral Chen's hand, poised over the command to initiate Protocol Omega, froze. The orbital station commanders held their positions, their sacrifice temporarily delayed as they awaited new orders. The massive alien object continued its ominous pulsing above Earth, seemingly unaware of the revelation below. "Look at these temporal readings." Dr. Hall projected a complex series of wave patterns. "Every time they make something vanish, there's not just a spatial displacement, but a temporal one. The missing ships, the colonies, they're being scattered across different time periods." The council chamber erupted in murmurs as the implications became clear. High Counselor Zextol's crystalline form flickered rapidly. "Of course, that's how they've managed to stay hidden for so long. They don't just collect innovations, they prevent civilizations from ever developing them in the first place. By sending our ships and colonies into different time periods, they're attempting to fragment human development," the Earth Ambassador realized. "They want to erase our progress, make it so we never developed our unique approaches to space combat." Admiral Chen's tactical mind was already racing ahead. "But that means Protocol Omega might not just destroy them. It could trap our people in those time periods forever." She turned to Dr. Hall. "Doctor, how much time do we have before they complete their temporal displacement of Earth?" Dr. Hall checked her readings. "Based on the energy buildup, 20 minutes, maybe less. But there's something else. She highlighted a particular pattern in the data. See these fluctuations? The collectors aren't as in control as they think. Moving things through time requires incredible precision. Each displacement creates ripples, distortions in the space-time fabric. The alien object suddenly emitted a new message. Your understanding grows, but it changes nothing. Your civilization has shown too much potential. You must be reset. But Admiral Chen was smiling, the kind of smile that had preceded some of humanity's greatest military victories. Dr. Hall, these temporal ripples, could we use them? Perhaps combine them with our vanishing technology. Dr. Hall's eyes widened as she caught on to the Admiral's thinking. The collector's temporal technology combined with our spatial displacement. Yes, yes. Instead of just moving ships through space, we could. She quickly ran calculations on her quantum computer. The Earth ambassador watched the alien object growing more unstable. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast. Those ripples are getting stronger. Sir, a young technician called out. We're picking up signals from our missing ships and colonies. They're trying to communicate across time. The collected data showed something extraordinary. The displaced human vessels and colonies, scattered across different time periods, weren't just surviving. They were adapting, learning, and somehow managing to coordinate with each other across the temporal barriers. Admiral Chen's smile grew wider. They thought spreading us across time would weaken us. Instead, they'd given us a presence across multiple time periods. And if there's one thing humans excel at, it's turning an enemy's strength against them. The alien object's surface began to show signs of concern, its shifting patterns becoming more erratic. Perhaps, for the first time in its ancient existence, it realized it might have made a catastrophic mistake. It had assumed that humanity's strength lay in its technology. It was about to learn that human innovation wasn't just about the tools they created. It was about how they used them. Dr. Hall's quantum computer completed its calculations. Admiral, I have a plan, but it's either going to save everything or tear apart the fabric of space-time itself. The collected council members watched in awe as humanity prepared to attempt something that no species had ever dared. The collectors had wanted to study human innovation. They were about to get a first-hand demonstration of just how innovative humans could be when pushed to their absolute limit. Dr. Hall's plan was audacious, bordering on insane, exactly the kind of thinking that had defined human progress throughout history. Instead of fighting the temporal displacement, we embrace it, she explained, her hands flying over the quantum computer's controls. Every ship, every colony they've scattered through time. They become our weapons. Admiral Chen quickly grasped the concept. Our orbital stations can modify their vanishing fields to sync with the temporal ripples. Instead of a direct attack, her eyes gleamed with understanding. We create a temporal resonance cascade, Dr. Hall finished, using our displaced ships as anchor points across time itself. The alien object's surface patterns suddenly shifted, suggesting it had detected their plan. Its message boomed through the council chamber. You cannot comprehend the forces you attempt to manipulate. Your species will be erased. Execute the modified Protocol Omega, Admiral Chen commanded. The orbital stations began adjusting their power signatures, synchronizing with the temporal distortions that riddled space around Earth. Each station's crew knew they were making their last stand, not just for humanity's present, but for its entire timeline. What happened next defied explanation. The vanishing fields from the orbital stations didn't just interact with the collector's temporal technology. They amplified it. Across different time periods, the scattered human ships and colonies received the signal. Years of isolation had prepared them for this moment, each developing their own innovations and adaptations. The collectors had inadvertently created a human presence across multiple points in time, and now that network was activating. Ships from humanity's past and potential futures began appearing around Earth, their technologies a bizarre mix of primitive and advanced designs. Each vessel carried the same indomitable human spirit that had caught the collector's attention in the first place. Impossible. The collector's message showed genuine fear for the first time. This level of temporal coordination cannot exist. You studied our ships, our technology, The Earth ambassador declared proudly, "But you never understood what makes humanity truly dangerous. We adapt, we overcome, and most importantly, we work together, even across the barriers of time itself." The temporal resonance cascade reached critical levels. The alien object's shifting surface began to fracture as the combined effect of thousands of human ships spanning multiple timelines created a phenomenon never before seen in the galaxy. Dr. Hall's quantum computer screamed warnings. The cascade is creating a temporal singularity. Everyone brace for temporal reintegration. In a blinding flash that seemed to last both an instant and an eternity, the collector vessel imploded. The temporal energies it had used to scatter humanity across time collapsed in on themselves, pulling the ancient entity into a prison of its own making. Trapped in a moment between moments, forever studying but never able to harvest. As the light faded, the displaced human ships and colonies began reappearing in their proper time and place. The crew members returned with stories of survival and adaptation from their temporal exile, each group having developed unique solutions to their isolation. The council chamber sat in stunned silence. High Counselor Zextol's crystalline form glowed with newfound respect. "In all our millennia of space travel, we never imagined." He paused, searching for words. "Your species turned time itself into a weapon." Admiral Chen shook her head. "Not a weapon, Counselor. A shield. Those collector entities are still out there, watching other young civilizations. But now we know how to fight them." She turned to Dr. Hall. "Doctor, I believe your temporal coordination network just gave humanity a new role in the galaxy." The Earth ambassador smiled as he addressed the council. "We may not have the most advanced ships or the most sophisticated technology, but we've proven something far more valuable. In any time, in any place, humanity's greatest strength remains unchanged: our ability to stand together against impossible odds." As the council prepared to vote on Earth's new status in the galactic community, a small alert appeared on Dr. Hall's quantum computer. Something subtle had changed in the temporal fabric around Earth, a tiny fluctuation that suggested their victory might not be as complete as they thought. But that was a mystery for another time. In the days following the temporal battle, Earth's scientists worked tirelessly to document and understand the innovations brought back by the returned ships and colonies. Each group had developed unique solutions to their temporal exile, creating a technological gold mine that would advance human civilization by centuries. Dr. Hall's temporal coordination network, originally created out of desperate necessity, was being refined into a groundbreaking defense system. The network could now detect the slightest temporal disturbances across space, serving as an early warning system against any future collector incursions. The fascinating part, Dr. Hall explained to the council during a follow-up session, is how each displaced group adapted our vanishing technology differently. Some developed temporal shielding, others created communication methods that transcended time itself. Together, they've given us a complete picture of space-time mechanics that no single civilization has ever possessed. Admiral Chen stood at Earth's new Temporal Defense Command, watching as ships from various galactic species arrived for training. The Council had unanimously voted to make Earth the center for temporal defense studies, acknowledging that humanity's unique approach to problem-solving could benefit the entire galaxy. "We've already identified 3 more collector groups operating in distant sectors," she reported to the assembled representatives. "But this time, we're ready for them. Every species brings its own strengths to the table, and combined with our temporal defense network, we're making the galaxy a much harder target for these parasitic entities." The Earth ambassador, now promoted to Earth's first temporal defense commissioner, couldn't help but smile at the irony. They'd wanted to study how we overcame challenges with limited technology. In trying to harvest that knowledge, they gave us exactly what we needed: a challenge that could only be overcome by working together across time and space. High Counselor Zextol, who had once laughed at human ships, now regularly visited Earth to study their methods. "Your species has taught us a valuable lesson," he admitted, his crystalline form glowing with sincerity. "True advancement comes not from having the most sophisticated technology, but from having the wisdom and creativity to use what you have effectively." As the galactic community entered this new era of cooperation, Dr. Hall's quantum computer continued to monitor that small temporal fluctuation she had detected after the battle. One evening, as she studied the readings for the 1000th time, she noticed something that made her heart skip a beat. The fluctuation wasn't a remnant of the battle. It was a message, encoded in the fabric of time itself. To those who overcame us, the message read, "You have proven yourselves worthy guardians. There are others like us, older and more dangerous. They will come, but now you are ready." Admiral Chen read the message twice before speaking, so our victory wasn't just a test of our ability to fight back. It was a test of our worthiness to defend against something even worse. The Earth ambassador nodded thoughtfully. Then we'll be ready for them too. Humanity has always faced challenges that seemed impossible at first glance, but now we know we're not facing them alone anymore. As the sun set over the new Temporal Defense Academy, ships of all designs and origins filled Earth's orbit. Some were sleek and advanced, others bulky and practical, but all of them carried crews united in purpose. The galaxy had learned that true strength didn't come from technology alone, but from the determination and creativity of those who wielded it. And somewhere, in a moment between moments, the collected knowledge of human innovation remained safely trapped in its temporal prison, a testament to the day the galaxy learned to stop laughing at human ships and started learning from them instead.